Well, we have what you might call a bit of a dreary day out there today. It's not raining anymore, but and it looks like the street is trying to dry up, but it's kind of gray and drizzly. And a little while ago, I was checking the weather, and they said we might get snow early next week. Now, I sure hope they're wrong. Anyway, let's take a look at our tip tinner here. Okay, now I'm going to want to try and be careful not to bump this. We got it all set up yesterday, if you remember. Okay, looks like we got another little piece of wrap to get off of there. Now, I don't know why this is harder than I thought it was. It's a good thing that I can edit out the dead spots here. Well, they really wrapped this up good. I guess probably for the post office probably made them do it because they didn't want to get this stuff all over somebody else's mail. I can quite well imagine it's fairly corrosive. Okay, we got it. Okay, I don't think it screws up. I think it just sort of pops off. Do not eat. Well, I'm sure glad they told me that. I was going to get my spoon out. Okay, I guess the idea is you're supposed to try and keep it dry. Now, okay, the way I understand you use this is when the soldering iron is hot, you're supposed to work it into this, and it's supposed to not only, tin the tip. It's also supposed to sort of scrub it clean. At least I that's what I understand. Like right now, that's hard. It's just like sort of like clay. Now, this, like I mentioned yesterday, I've never used this before, so the only thing I'm going by is what I've seen other people do on YouTube. So, yeah, obviously, I'm having a hard time concentrating on what I want to say. Well, let's just try it out. Okay, we're at 300 degrees there. At least we're at 300 degrees here. I don't know if we're at 300 here. Now, that's just my unprofessional opinion. Could be that this is where it's 300 degrees. But I really don't think that the sensor that the computer in this thing senses is actually way out here. I think it's somewhere else. Okay, so the idea is you're supposed to just go in. Oh, yeah. No, I would imagine a person is supposed to brush that off. Where do I want to do this now? Well, that appears to be pretty good. Let's just do it one more time here. I mean, you probably can't see it, but it looks really good to me. Okay, let's get ourselves set up here. Okay, I'm almost positive that out of all the viewers, there was somebody who was trying to see that old wristwatch, because I've been showing a different wristwatch for the last, 3, 4, 5 episodes. So why not? And this is it. Now, I'll try and get it so that the light won't reflect off the dial. It might be kind of hard to do because there are so many reflective surfaces at all kinds of different angles. And this watch, it was my first good watch. I got this in 1963. And I know I've mentioned this before on YouTube, but there's undoubtedly somebody watching right now that doesn't know the story behind this watch. And I call this my John F. Kennedy watch. And the reason I call it that is because the week that I got it, John F. Kennedy was assassinated. So, yeah, it was sort of, yeah, that's why I call it my John F. Kennedy watch. Anyway, it's self-winding. As you know, in some of these older watches, the half moon thing that goes back and forth that winds it. Well, this particular movement, it winds no matter which direction the thing goes. It's got a special mechanism in there. I know there's a word for it, but I've forgotten what it is. But anyway, I'm giving you a lot more information than you need here. I realize that. But anyway, that's this watch is very, very special to me. It's like the one I was wearing yesterday that my kids bought. That watch is special to me because they bought it. This watch is special because it's my first good one. And as you can see, it still runs. So, yeah. Let's slip on our macro lens and get our soldering iron plugged back in. And we'll see if we can't get this to turn into molten solder. Now, you know what? I think we have to get a little bit of rosin on there, don't we? Okay, we're not going to need very much here. Yeah, I remember that day really well in November. It was just soon after my birthday. And my dad and I were out in the halftime. We went to get the mail. When we came back, my mom was mentioning how the CBC here in Canada was playing what you might call somber music. And very soon after that, she heard on the radio that the announcement came across. I remember being rather shocked as a, teenager. I was about 17, I guess, at the time. I'm 74 right now, for those of you who are trying to do the math. Okay, now I think if I stick that just in, I know I got some on the tweezer there. I will rub that off. But I think now if we get our soldering iron plugged in and just touch that, I think it should work. Now I realize that what I did was I made it sound like my mother gave me the first news about the assassination. But actually, we'd heard about it about 3 hours earlier. And here's what happened. We lived in a little town at that time, and Mom and Dad had the post office. And we had to drive into the next closest big town and get the mail. And we did it once a week. It was on Friday, so this had to have happened on a Friday. And we went into a little restaurant there that we frequented, and it was a Chinese restaurant, and the proprietor, he looks at us, and we were regular customers, and the first thing he said was, "Kennedy shot," and his eyes were as big as saucers, and that was the first time we heard it. I can still see his face. Okay, a few minutes has passed here. got the soldering iron plugged in, and it's turned up to 350. I hope that's not too hot. Now let's just, as soon as it solidifies, I'm going to pull away. Now I don't think it ran down the full length of that part though. Okay, it did now. I can actually see it down there. When I was pushing down on it, I hope I didn't move it out of a line, but I think it's pretty close. This is just an afterthought here, but I was thinking after, what I should have done is perhaps blocked it up so that when I press down, it would support the pressure. But too late now, and I think it's going to be okay. Okay, whoops, don't bump that one. I want to see if I can just carefully release this now. There we go. Now, the plan is I'm going to stick on the super macro here and see if we can get right in nice and close on that connection. And I can see things a lot better with this than I can with the magnification hood, actually. Okay, I am moved in here at about, I guess you'd say, 4 out of 5 power. So I'm almost as close as I can get. But I wanted to back off enough so that you could see the entire part in question here. And it does appear to me that the solder did flow all the way back, and the connection has been made. At least that's the way it looks in the monitor. Yeah. Now, just to give you perspective here, I'm going to try and stick my finger in the seam here. At least that's part of my finger. Well, that didn't work out as planned. Now, I haven't straightened these out yet, so they might look a little bit crooked, some of them. But when I was editing out that last 12 minutes or so of video just now, I was noticing on this last one that we just looked at real close, there appeared to be a little hump. Now I could maybe try and cut this off maybe with my sharp knife here, or I could take the soldering iron here and heat it up and try and rub it off that way. Except if I do the soldering iron thing, yes, it would work, but it might also suddenly liquefy our solder and this whole thing is going to fall off. So I'm not going to do that. I think I'm just going to see if I can't just cut this off somehow. Maybe I should put a new blade on here. Do you remember about 150 or maybe 300 of these blades? Do you know I don't think I've used one yet. I think I've still got one of the originals in here. In fact, I know I do. I think it's time to put in a new blade here. Yeah, isn't that funny? Got these, about a year ago? And I think I looked at them, but I don't think I actually tried one out. Yeah, I think there's 150. I think there's 50 in each one, and there's 3 packages, so. A lifetime supply. All right, let's put the macro lens back on and move in. I don't think we need the super macro. Okay, the plan now is to just sort of hold against myself with this jeweler's screwdriver. Actually, it's kind of a deceptive term for it because it's pretty heavy duty for a jeweler's screwdriver, but it's part of a set. Now, is this going to cut, or is it going to do more damage than... Okay, I'm pretty sure we got the high part off of that. I don't want to weaken this piece here. All right, what I'm going to do now is, I'm not going to show it being done, but I'm going to take this part and I'm going to try and carefully, using a little brush. Where's my little brush? Okay, using a little brush here and some soapy water. I was thinking of putting this whole thing in the ultrasonic cleaner, but then I realized it would probably dissolve the CA glue that we used. So I just want to try and get rid of some of that acid flux that's on there. I think it probably will paint a lot better. And then after I do that, then we'll try and straighten these up. I'm looking straight down on them like this, and I can see that they're not perfectly aligned. Anyway, once again, more information than you need. Okay, we just did the soapy water thing here, and there's probably little water droplets still on this, so just going to use this other brush here to try and get most of the droplets off, and then we'll just let this thing dry, and then we'll straighten it out. I suppose there's probably water on the inside there. Okay, let's not bend anything now. It almost looks like I did. It looks like I've damaged the grill. Maybe you can't see it, but right there where I'm touching with the point, it doesn't look quite right. I'm not going to try to video it, but I'm going to take my microscope and see if I can't just straighten that out. Okay, if I get it right on this little black mark here, it should be more or less underneath the lenses. And I say lenses because there's actually two microscopes up in this thing. That's why I get to see it in stereo. And, alright. Now, didn't I say I wasn't going to video this? Remember I texted just a few minutes ago something about I have this silly compulsion to video everything? Well, I'll put on the macro lens and here we go again. Now I am just appalled and embarrassed at how dirty this whole thing is. I think maybe I should hook up my air hose and blow it out. You can see it here. It's the one I'm just touching with the tip. I'm just trying to press down on it here now. That's not working. Maybe I'm going to have to try and very carefully put my finger on it. Try not to get it out of everybody's field of view there. Just let me check the monitor. Can you still see it? Oh yeah. Okay, now I just want to push this in just a little bit here. It's kind of stretched. There, I'm kind of steadying the blade. Yeah, it's I'll come up from the other side here. Can I straighten it out a little bit? Oh my, this is just too delicate for me here. Well, I do believe it is somewhat better. At least it's not sticking out anymore like it was. Well, now you can't see it at all. Anyway, I do believe I straightened it a little bit here. I am realizing now in editing that I should have had a different camera angle. The camera was looking straight in on it. I should have been coming in from the side, and you'd have been able to clearly see that that little piece of grill work was badly pulled out from all the others. It was in line, but it was pulled out, if that makes any sense. So in a way, I almost made it look as though I'd made it worse. But in fact, I did actually make it look better. Okay. Now, it has to mount. Let's see here. Let's move this so we can see. There we go. Oh, somebody's at the door. Well, I guess that's going to be it for the model ship for today. Normally, I see people coming, but I guess I was just so engrossed in what I was doing here, I didn't see it. I better be careful here. Alright, get myself sat down. Okay, remember I was saying that I had to have a multimeter, and why is it that I can never open this type of box up? Okay, there we go. Okay, good old Amazon. Now this is not an expensive one, but it's not the cheapest either. It's probably going to be as good as, or maybe even a little better than the one I had, because this one is like 25 years newer. Now we're not going to be able to demonstrate it because it's going to take me a while to figure out how it goes. I basically only need to know how to measure voltage, amperage, and resistance. I don't need to know about all the other fancy things it does. I don't think I'll be checking transistors anymore. I don't think I'll be checking capacitors, so I don't need to figure out how to do the microfarads thing, but I think it's going to be alright. Just give me 24 hours here to, read the instructions, and then we'll put the batteries in it. Oh, there's no batteries. Well, I have all kinds of batteries, so I guess we're okay. Yeah. Anyway, that's it, folks. That was the big surprise. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.